Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we're gonna learn about how to configure an email listener, just a basic stuff like how do you configure it and one of the use case, not a use case but just an implementation maybe. So just a heads up that this video might get a bit longer anyway. So I'll just tell you the flow what we're gonna do. So we'll be creating an email listener, and when we will be sending the email to the email account whichever is going to associate with the email listener, right, we're gonna send the email to that email account, and when the listener picks up the email, we're gonna take the data from the email, like some basic stuff, and we'll store in our data type. Sounds good, right? So I'll share my screen. So perfect, right? So as I said that we will be creating a data type to store all the data from the email, right? So this is a new application which I created. It has nothing now. So I will be creating a data type first of all. So let's create a data type which will store all the values. So I'll just create a new data type. So I will name it as say email data maybe, and description will remain the same, and I will submit it. Perfect, right? Cool. Now we're gonna add some properties to it, right? So I'll just add few fields whichever we need. So we will be storing, suppose, the sender information, sender email ID. So I will just name it as sender, and if you want you can choose any of this. So I will make it as email because sender will be an email, right? And I will add submit and another. Then I will add as a date time, maybe date time, just a second, date time, which I will keep it as text, doesn't matter. I will add another which will be our say body of the email, right? And what else we need? Okay, we can add subject as well, right? Subject. So I have added subject as well, and we are done. Let's wait a couple of seconds. So good, we have created all these four properties, right? Fields. Now I'll go to records and I'll configure the source. So let's make date time as our key because it will be unique, and let's make it submit and just wait for a second to get it cleared. So perfect, we are done with the data type, right? That is good. Okay, now coming to the email listener part, right? So let's create an email listener. So I'll go to create, integration resources, and email listener, right? Perfect. So I will name it as say my POC email maybe, and I'm gonna copy this and paste it over here. I will name POC email. Perfect, and I'll create an open. Oh, okay, this I will name it as suppose my POC, my email listener. Okay, my email listener. Perfect, create and open. I have named it differently. So this is the email listener rule, right? Now we have to add few of this information over here, right? So first of all, we want to run it in, or you can choose as per your requirements. So for now I will be using as this node classification based startup, and over here I will be adding as background processing. Okay, you can, but anyway this is not mandatory for you to choose the same. You can choose in as per your requirement, of course. Now the next part is email account, right? So I have already created few email accounts over here. I have already made if you don't know how to create an email account, so please go. I will put a video. I have already created a video on that, so I will put it over somewhere here, and you can check out that video to configure the email account if you don't know. Otherwise it's good. So I have already created this my email. I'll just show you once this rule. This is an email account rule which I have created, and this is the email ID which I'm going to use. So I'll just quickly copy the name, right? Just a second. So this is the email account which I'm going to use. Perfect, right? So this I have already added. Now coming to the service package, right? So we need to create a service package. So I will create, suppose I will name it as the same, this email listener only, email listener package. So let's create a service package. So create and open, and we are good. So access group, I'm going to give that of my application, which is YouTube authors, and authentication I will uncheck it for now, and I will save this. So it's saved, right? Yeah, saved. Perfect. Now coming to the different service class, right? So since I want to store it in my data type, so in the service class which I will be giving is as data1, the one that data which I have created the data type of, which is this one, right? So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. Okay, and so now we have to create a new rule called service method rule, right? So I will name it as, say, email listener service, and I will create this. So this is the main rule kind of which does the processing and all, where we have to write our own activity, right? So the primary page class, again it is going to be of our the class will be of our data type class, right? So I'll just paste the class name, and over here is our service activity, which is responsible for doing the mapping and all, right? So before coming on to the activity, we will go to the different tab, request, right? So if you see over here, PEGA has given us the option of message header, and this part is of message data. So message data is going to be anyway the body, right? So if you see over here, if you just take the drop down, you see where do you want to map the value, right? So since we want to map it to our property, right, which is in data type, so I'm choosing clipboard, but if you want to do it by XML and all, you can of course do it. So I'm choosing as map to clipboard property, and our property was, if you see, we are already getting the options, right? So my of our data class, right? So I'm going to store the body in the body property, right? So I'll click on this, and over here what we want is, like, I'll just check. So we want from, right, which will be storing under as a clipboard property, and under the property name sender, right? Because from will be sender, right? Again I will add few more. So over here, what else we needed subject, right? So I will choose storing subject under as a clipboard property again, and in the name will be subject, and again the third field, which was, I suppose, the date, right? So we will take this date, the date that the email was received, right? And I'm gonna store it under what happened? Oh, okay, I haven't choose this clipboard property again, and we're gonna store it under date time, right? Or maybe I'll put this as send date, and this is fine. Okay, anything else which I am forgetting? Let's just check. 4 properties. Okay, fine. So this is what we do in the service email rule, right? Response, since we right now we are not going to response back anything, so I'm keeping it as blank. So request, we are good, right? So I'm just going to save this rule. So we need to create an activity, right? It throws an error that we need to have a service activity. So let me name it as map email data to data type, and I'll create the service activity, right? So just before creating the service activity, just a second. Perfect. So just before creating the service activity, I'll just show you once. So this is the service page, right? This page is going to have all the data, whatever we want to, like whatever the data we will be getting from this over here, right? So just before creating the service activity, right? So what I want to say is, like, this page name, right? My service page. So this is the page where we wanna get all the values mapped, right? So once the values, whichever the values we are getting, right, from the email, from this properties, all these properties, this sender, subject, date, time, and all will be stored under this page, my service page, right? So just a heads up this. So now over here, once I come up, right, so what I'm gonna do is, like, I'm gonna do a property set, right? And inside this, and it will be under the context of my service page, right? And so what I'm going to do is, like, okay, we don't need this. I don't think we need this, right? Okay, perfect. So what we're gonna do is, like, we're gonna call save, and it will be under the context of my service page, right? Just a second, so spelling is wrong. MyService service page, and then we're gonna add another step called for commit, right? So commit, it should work, right? Perfect. And just gonna save this activity maybe. So let's save it for a moment. Oh, okay. So my service page, we need to define it over here. My service page, and let's save this. So it's done, right? So now coming back to this, right? So this we guess we have configured the service email rule as well, right? So I'll just save this and it should get saved. Now coming back to the listener rule, which was our initial which we were trying to create, right? So we have done everything right now, right? So I'll just try to save this one as well, and if you see, it's done, right? So it's saved. Now what we need to do is, like, we need to turn it on, right, the listener. So I'll just go to admin studio. Okay, so I have to add the admin studio access to my operator. Give me a second. Admin studio and save. So now we should be able to get the admin studio, right? Just give me a studio. Now we have got the admin studio access, right? So we'll go back to admin studio and the application, and under resources we'll go for listeners. Okay, so okay, we have we'll start a new instance of our listener. So our listener name is this one, right? What was our listener name? My email listener. Yep, this was our listener, right? My email listener. I will apply it, and if you see, it is created, right? So just let me refresh this. So the listener is already up, right? So now let's get back to dev. Perfect. Now let me send an email. Try to send an email in the to the listener, right? So the email ID was my email@gmail.com. Okay, let me give a subject. This is a test email. Hi guys, do like, share and subscribe my channel. Perfect, and I will send it. So the email has been sent. So let's wait for a couple of seconds and we will see under our data type if it has been processed or not. So this is what our data type was, right? So let us go under records, and if you see, perfect. Let us wait for a second. I'll do a quick refresh. It might take some time, a couple of seconds, couple of minutes, because it's under background processing. I can see in my phone that I haven't received the mail yet, so let us wait for some time. So guys, I just figured out that all the emails were going into spam folders. That's why it was not reflecting over here, though I was sending the emails. So now it should reflect. I'll just do a quick refresh again, since I have moved those emails from the spam to the inbox folder. Because if you remember, over here while configuring, we have given the folder name as inbox, right? So it will only receive the emails. It will get triggered only for the emails which are in the inbox folder, right? So just now I have moved the folders from spam to inbox, so make sure you also don't do that mistake. So now if I'll do the refresh, I think I should get the emails or the data. So if you see right now, I'm got all the values, right? Because I had sent multiple times the email and from the different account as well, if you'll see. So yeah, so this is how we configure an email listener. So next we'll meet on the next video. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, tata, bye bye.